All right, let's get into the Q&A for this video. I asked you guys for some questions specifically revolving around creative apps and the Creative iPad Pro experience. And somebody asked about battery life. How does using a really pro creative app eat up your battery life? Or does it? And can you make it through a whole day? I would say, as impressive as the battery life is on the iPad Pro, I'm always wanting more. In my original iPad Pro review for this model, people were like, wow, I can't believe this guy's complaining about the battery life. And it's just like, I can kill the battery pretty good by the end of the day. It'll get me through the whole day. But if you're doing something, whether it's, taking notes even, but using that Apple Pencil a lot, or actually like sketching and really creating a work of art, like a masterpiece, it's going to get you through the day for sure. But you end up in that red zone of below 20%, at least I do, if I'm using it really heavily throughout the day. So could be a good idea to bring along at least an extra portable battery. The next question is almost more of like a complaint / plea for help. Somebody was like, I can't really Photoshop stuff on the iPad Pro. It's like too hard to place text over images and my logo and stuff. And I understand, like I feel the pain because like I was talking about, traditionally I'm used to Photoshop on the Mac. And that's what I've been used to all these years. The thing is, this is the hard answer. I think it just comes down to investing the time into learning whatever app you need to use or that's interesting to you. Like, let's take Affinity Photo, for instance. That interface is just different enough from the Photoshop on the Mac that I'm used to that I can't just sail through and edit. But if I dig around and maybe do some internet searches, how to do X, I can definitely get done whatever I need to do. And I haven't spent enough time in there. I haven't made it my, this is what you got to do. You got to make whatever app you're going to be using your primary thing and just say for 3 weeks or for a month, I'm going to use this and not go use the old program that I'm used to as a crutch. And when you make it your primary thing with no backup, where you can't go back, you learn it like pretty fast. You know what I mean? That's how you learn stuff. It's just like into the fire, get it done. So the simple answer is, I know it's annoying, but you got to learn it. You got to invest the time, and it can probably do what you need it to do. The next thing is more of a comment, but I want to talk about it more than a question. And someone just said, Sidecar is amazing. Just had to say that. And yeah, it really is. Now, they were specifically talking about Sidecar in Illustrator, but Sidecar with anything is amazing. So let me tell you about my setup. It's changed a little bit even since the setup video that I made not long ago, which is like a creative person's dream setup. If you haven't seen it, make sure to check it out. So what I've got going on right now, MacBook Pro right in front of me, iPad off to the left running Sidecar, and then the 49-inch ultra wide above those. And so I've got a triple monitor setup happening right now. The funny thing is somebody commented like, oh, no, scientifically that doesn't work. You can't multitask like that. And it's like, dude, that is what I use. I do that every single day. Every time a video gets made, it was made using all that screen real estate. And so people are different and people need to understand that. But Sidecar is so good. Lately, in conjunction with the iPad, I've been using it like this. I'll like draw up some notes. Like for this video, I made up a sketch, like sketching out what I wanted to talk about and cover and how it should be broken down for this video. And I did that on the iPad using the Apple Pencil, just in Apple Notes. And then when I got back to my desk, fired up Sidecar, had Apple Notes open on the iPad, got that note out, put it full screen, put it over on my Mac. And so I was able to reference those handwritten notes, which sometimes it's just easier to do something handwritten. Reference those, but then type up on the iPad using Sidecar, like the formal outline for this video. So that's something that I just couldn't do without Sidecar, and I love that. And speaking of Sidecar, somebody's like, how do you use the touch interface with Sidecar for like creative apps? Well, here's the thing. Let's say you've got Photoshop running on your Mac, and then you load up Sidecar, which is really cool. So if you have like a chair in your office or your dorm room or wherever you're at, or maybe like a couch, you can load up Sidecar with Photoshop, head over there, and just like lounge. You can lay down or just sit in a more comfortable chair than just at your desk and actually have the full Photoshop, real Photoshop, not even the Photoshop that's supposed to be the real Photoshop on the iPad, the Photoshop on your Mac running on your iPad in Sidecar. And so you're not using your fingers to interact with that like you might think. You are going to be using the Apple Pencil, and that's going to act as your mouse. but expect to use your Apple Pencil and not really your fingers. The last question has to do with video editing. Somebody's like, I'm just waiting for something with better multicam support. And to be honest, I don't know if LumaFusion has multicam support or not. That's the most professional app on the iPad. So if it doesn't yet, then yeah, you're kind of out of luck. You could do the same thing with Sidecar, where you load up Final Cut or Adobe Premiere or whatever, just use it in Sidecar, but that's not really the same. Like, you can't do that if you're going somewhere else. It's not where your desk is, your main desk. Now, I've said it before, and I'll say it until it happens. I believe that it is gonna happen. I hope so, I want it to. Apple needs to bring Final Cut Pro to the iPad. I don't think it's gonna cannibalize. Like, you have people that need to use the Mac Pro and expand it to the $20,000 setup that it can be with two $6,000 monitors. You have those people, and those aren't going to change. And then you have some other people who would really benefit from Final Cut Pro on the iPad, because Adobe's doing what they're doing in their space. I don't think they're going to bring actual Adobe Premiere to the iPad Pro. They're going to have Adobe Rush and Adobe Spark Video and those kind of things. But Apple, it's within their power, because it's their device, to bring Final Cut Pro to the iPad. And I really can't wait for the day. It will be a whole new device for me if they could do that. With all of they don't want to do the Photoshop thing where they're like, we're bringing Final Cut to the iPad Pro, and everyone's like, yes, finally, and then it comes and it's missing 75% of the features. They can't do that. And maybe that's why it's taking so long to happen. You can only hope, right? All right, that's it for this video. I tried to wave my arms around less because everyone's like, oh, it's making me dizzy or giving me anxiety. They're like, don't gesticulate. I can't help it. I didn't even know what that word meant. I had to look it up. That's what I do, but I tried to tone it down this video, so let me know. Was that better? Was it worse? Do you miss the old Chris with the arms flying around? If you're not following me already on Instagram and Twitter, it's Daily Tech, spelled Daily T-E-K-K, in both of those places. Don't forget to check out the podcast. Don't forget to check out the Clips channel. There's a lot of important stuff happening over there that I don't want you to miss out on. It's all linked up down below, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Later.